This is Mason. It's 11 o'clock in the morning in Syracuse, and we're live in the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
Oh, you know it. Wednesday, August the 19th. That's today's day. Welcome in, everybody. We are live. It is the 315 here on this lovely Syracuse Wednesday. Yeah, we'll get into that, Govendo. We'll see how all that goes. There's a lot going on in the world of college sports, which could have never gone on in the world of college sports prior to now. So lots going on, but welcome in, everyone. And we're gonna mention this a few times today. Rare we do something before the Thompson Road Tavern opening menu. We got our West Coast contingent. We're in LA. We're in San Diego. We got Govendo. We got Kev. We got the crew joining in. And I know this has been the longest teased thing in the history, perhaps, of the entire internet, the entire industry of broadcasting, the entire history of merchandise, and perhaps more. But the hat has officially been added to the 315 collection. We got Vegas as well at simplysweetsisters.myshopify.com. The hat is here. Oh, the long lane for the hat. The hat. Look, they look the same. It's because it's a picture of this one. It's because Texas is here. We are coast to coast, border to border. We got the hat. Look, it looks the same. It's because it is the same. That is a picture of this. You can buy it now. And while we got Canada too, Christian, my goodness, we're coming from all over the place. Mark has clocked in ordering the hat. Mark, I think, is like, we literally posted it like within the last 5 minutes. So I think Mark has won the race for first hat order. And well, I always say this, it's always a quarter zip weather here in the lovely basement studios of the 315. Today, it's actually, I like to keep a little thermometer nearby, just out of curiosity saying. Today it's telling me the basement's clocking in at a comfy 68 degrees. I actually don't need the quarter zip, but the quarter zip is, we're coast to coast, we're worldwide, we're international, baby. The quarter zip, I don't think it's quite there yet. The quarter zip is coming, I dare say. So perhaps if you also are, if you're also pondering a hat and quarter zip combo, maybe wait a few minutes. If you just want the hat, fire at will. The hat worked well on the beach strolls. It doesn't really work well over headphones. But the quarter zip perhaps will be appearing on the 315 collection here on simplysweetsisters.myshopify.com before the end of this year very show, which will give us a great reason to talk about it later. We're going to once again try to lean back and hang this up without falling over. Next up, winter beaties. Govendo, I have good news on that front. I ordered a package of winter hats the other day. They're sitting just over there. We're gonna test it out. We're gonna test it out. So we're not quite ready in that regard, but Govendo, we due to your suggestion, which I enjoyed, while we're working on it. I've tried on one of the hats and it was stretchy and comfy. I've not logoed it yet, though, but we're perhaps by the end of the day we'll make that happen and see what it's all about. So simplysweetsisters.myshopify.com. Check the 315 collection, and kaboom, the hat is here. You click the buy thing, and then you will have purchased it. Then you will have purchased it. Yeah, the Speedos, we're running out of time seasonally for the Speedo. Yeah, proper mic placement is critical. In I don't even know which way critical. It's critical. It's certainly critical. Everyone's in the Little League World Series. Greenville, North Carolina. Or wait, no, Dom's Bayonne, New Jersey. Dom's other other hometown. Dom is from many places. He's from New Jersey. He's from Carolina. Obviously, he loves Syracuse. He's got the farmland in lovely New Hampshire. There's all of it. No, there will not be those hats in the pipeline, Weeze, for reasons detailed previously. It just did not. It didn't test well. It had a poor test run, and yeah, a toque, a beanie, a winter hat, a bumper sticker. Here's the thing about bumper stickers, Kev. Well, I would appreciate people putting stickers of me on their car. I would never put a bumper sticker on my own car. So, would I ask others to do it for me? Yeah. We could potentially look into stickers, and I suppose you could put them wherever you want. But I have never once ever had a bumper sticker on my car. Like rear window Syracuse decal, sure. But I've never once had a bumper sticker on my car, and in good conscience, I don't know. Back window, fine. In good conscience, I don't know if I could ask others to bumper their car up. Like, it's just not what we're doing. But the 315 hat is officially arrived. We need to get some in production, and just a wrap for Kev's truck. We just wrap the whole thing. Just. He can be a moving billboard. So there we are, the 315 collection. It grows. To steal from Rothstein, it grows. The hat is alive. It's got a heathered gray front. It's got a dark gray back. It's got the orange bill. It's got the new logo. We're happy with that, and we're always happy. We are always happy. Always happy to talk to you on a WEC Wednesday. It's time for our Thompson Road Tavern opening menu today. Oh, we love a WEC Wednesday. We absolutely love a WEC Wednesday, and today is that. Check out Thompson Road Tavern. It opened 9 minutes ago. They've got WEC, and they are ready for you to eat it. Yesterday, they rocked a Taco Tuesday. They had carnitas. I love carnitas. Today, they're rocking the WEC Wednesday. Oh, and this just in. This literally just in. Just in. They've got the Little Neck Lambs today. $8 for the WEC, $8.95 for the Little Necks. Boom. Clams are dine-in only, though. They're not sending you on the road with the clams. So here's what you do. Like, you go in and you just pound the clams, then you can take the WEC with you. And there you are. There you are. So that's the Thompson Road Tavern. As far as our menu for conversation today, I wanted to hit a little basketball rotationally stuff to go off of what we talked about the other day, plus this J.J. Starling news that just dropped this morning from Mike Waters. And we'll get into some of that. As far as football, our Nave Law 100-day countdown has just 17 days remaining. Just 17 days remaining to the season. And today we will be previewing North Carolina State, which will be a road game. Ryan Mullen here in the 315. San Diego Q's had carnitas last night. Outstanding. Probably very outstanding down in your neck of the woods. So we're going to do that. We'll have a little football talk today for sure. And, this basketball news and the continuing lawsuits and the this and the that and all these things are getting more interesting by the moment. So there we are, our Thompson Road Tavern opening menu for today here on a WEC Wednesday. Get yourself out to the Thompson Road Tavern, which is, say it with me, on Thompson Road. Yes, sir, on Thompson Road. And as always, link pinned in the chat if you'd like to join the show today at any point vis-a-vis a live video call. So with that, we are officially open for business, underway. And, Gavendo mentioning it off the top, the news of the morning, and this is in no way surprising based on everything that's happened over the course of the last couple weeks. The latest name to add his name to the growing fifth-year transfer portal population is one J.J. Starling, who added his name to one of the plethora of lawsuits on the topic last week. This was one filed in California. So Syracuse lacrosse players, Colorado, J.J. Starling, California. And yes, Kev, smash the $ next to the chat box. Turn yourself green. Become a channel member. If you're somehow here and not subscribed, I almost find that hard to believe at this point, but there we are. Smash the subscribe button as well. If there's a button, smash it. Whatever you got, smash. So there we are. But J.J. Starling into the portal. And my assumption here, based on just the way the wind is blowing, is that all of these guys are going to end up eligible for the season, which at the last minute is essentially going to throw things into complete and utter chaos with rosters and this and that and whatever. Because some rosters don't have room. With some of these guys, they don't have NIL. I got a feeling JJ's going to find that coming back for a fifth year may not exactly be at this stage of the game be worth the coinage that it was before. Ryan has smashed the $ and subscribed. We love that. It's not subscribe, become a channel member. There are various levels of channel membership. Ryan is a friend of the 315. You can be a loyalist. You can be a completist. I forget what I named the other one. I named them all various things, and you can be whichever one of them you want. So I'll be very intrigued to see, like, where is JJ going to go? What do non-Syracuse fans think about J.J. Starling? Because in our Syracuse bubble, God bless him, I think we're all kind of tired of J.J. Starling for a lot of reasons. When you are the, supposed leader of a losing team for the last 2 years, there's that. When your stats degrade over the course of your career, there's that. And then when you're shooting form, be it from injury, be it from whatever, like JJ's outside shot and free throws imploded over the course of his college career. So where would a guy like JJ Starling end up? Like Syracuse, I'd say let's cross that right out. I can't imagine that being a marriage that needs to happen again. LSU, who just said LSU? That's vaguely interesting because LSU's got like no players right now. LSU's got no players. Well, I mean, JJ got the G-Wagon last year, but that wasn't a purchase. That was a lease. Like, I'm presuming JJ no longer has said G-Wagon. Like, that's a year situation. That should be gone by now, I think. Like, I don't know what wheels he's tooling about in, but my guess is the G-Wagon has been returned. Like, LSU literally does not have, at least at last check last week, they did not have enough players to play basketball yet. I think they were still on 4. So, like, they just need bodies down there. Could people saying, would Red take him at Virginia? There's nothing at all to me about J.J. Starling and what he's done recently that screams Virginia. Either old style or new style or anything. That would really surprise me to 98 different levels. So now we're at the drop to a lower level situation. How far do you drop? Like, for all the crap that we give JJ 2 years ago did score. What did he score? 17, 18 points a game. Last year in a bad season, he still scored 11 points a game at the ACC level. So, I mean, would you literally go to Lemoyne? Like, he knows a guy that knows some guys, like Siena, Binghamton, Weitzman. Like, those are all immediate things. Or realistically now, we're kind of at the stage, the way the portal works. Anybody that's legit, I saw the Ivy League Player of the Year from last year, from where, Princeton or Penn or somewhere, just put his name in the portal. Like, it's going to be a wacky season right now. But the way the portal works, all right, so JJ's name is in it. So he can be contacted by anybody. There could be a trade to Quinnipiac. I don't think I quite seriously say to you, Hughes, I think part of the reason Amari Monroe moved on, not the only reason, but part of the reason Amari Monroe moved on is that like Quinnipiac obviously had moved on. Their roster is full. So I don't think they'd even be able to do it if they'd have to kick somebody out for J.J. Starling. But like there's got to be an LSU is the most obvious case right now because they just need bodies. But like if JJ wants to keep playing Power 5, Power whatever 6, Power however many we're counting it right now basketball, there's got to be somebody randomly that would reach out for him just due to 4 years of experience and all that. Now you might end up far flung in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where that might take you. But I think a guy like Starling is a fascinating case. A fascinating case because he can't be the only one like him out there, but guys like this that are saw this coming, put off maybe playing at some random outpost overseas because we had never really heard JJ tied to overseas anywhere, right? Wait till January, find a team in need. You know what, Mark? As crazy as that sounds, like, this is the first year ever that might actually be possible. That if you were a guy like that is getting out of nowhere another year of eligibility, especially if you've already graduated college, that if you joined a roster, this is crazy, because this is not JJ. This could happen with other guys. There could be a pile of guys that don't find a team right now that there could be a spot that opens up literally for only the spring semester where you could join the roster after the first semester closes, so pre-Christmas, and then be potentially immediately eligible based on whatever's going on and then play the rest of the way. This happened in a completely different realm. What was this also like his class? There was the year, it might have been the year before. I think this might have actually, this is, so J.J. Starling's a class of 22 guy. This might have been his class or the year before, where it was like one of those first years of COVID. All of the high school basketball seasons got shut down, remember, because they just weren't going to deal with it. And there were some players, the biggest standout that's now turned into an absolute star at the women's side is Olivia Miles, who played at Notre Dame, then TCU, and is now tearing up the WNBA. But there was more than a handful of people that, because their senior year of high school disappeared due to COVID, that they then joined college midway through the season as early matriculating freshmen, a la what a lot of football players do, except they don't have a season, and then just started playing. Olivia Miles, we didn't know her from a hole in the wall. Her first career game as some rando 18-year-old, or she's 17 at the time, came in the Dome, and it was like, who is this? And she was fantastically compelling and crazy turnover prone at the time, but she obviously turned out to what she did. This would kind of be the reverse of that. So there is already precedent, though, of joining a team mid-season and playing. So, yeah, I think that could be it Starling or others. I will guarantee you today that it will happen for more than 0 people. That will happen for more than 0 people. And, again, LSU comes up as a key spot because they just don't have enough players to field a team right now. They got 4 guys. So, best wishes to JJ, but time at Syracuse is over. I can't. Roster spots, roster construction, any compelling reason to do it. I just can't find any good reason for Jerry to even consider that idea. But, as Supercat said, best wishes. Find a spot. Hopefully, fresh scene, fresh mental start. Maybe your shoulder gets back to doing this in the right way. Maybe you can get back at least on track to go have some semblance of a productive overseas career. Maybe. I mean, there was a time It obviously hasn't worked out for him either. There was a time that like J.J. Starling was higher in NBA mock drafts than Judah Mintz was. Now, neither are ever going to play in the NBA, but and Judah, like we've seen, Judah is 10 times the player that J.J. turned out to be for a variety of reasons. But this is going to be interesting of what teams Kev wants to see the hitch again. Well, if he goes to Providence, they do play Providence. Yeah, JJ was just, yeah, and I don't think anyone on earth, Dom, would think him crazy for it. Amari Monroe is a better basketball player than JJ Starling, at least certainly right now. I mean, was he a McDonald's All-American? No, but he was insanely productive in college, and JJ's career was statistically productive at times. But for the most part, it was not productive in wins and injuries. Whatever the reason was, of which I'm sure there were many, it just didn't go where they wanted. Yeah, I mean, let's not rewrite history in the negative for JJ. When we go back in time, when Red got the job and the portal opened, quite literally, the first act of Red's career as head coach, and every one of us, let's not rewrite history. We were all excited about it at the time. It was JJ was in the portal. We knew from the moment Mike Bray announced his retirement midseason that year, everyone, it was known that JJ was going in the portal. It was also pretty well known that if Jim Boeheim was still the head coach, JJ was not coming back home, and then that all happened, and essentially the first legitimate act of Red's tenure as head coach was getting JJ Starling out of the portal. And at the time, unfortunately for both parties involved, we have all the evidence now, but at the time, that was a legitimately exciting moment. Like, that was a big get. At the time, JJ was number one on the portal list. Like, it was a big get. Had it not been so known what was going to happen, I think a lot of schools would have been involved with them. But at the time, that was a great ad. And then we got a season of Judah and JJ, and we're like, okay. Like, obviously, there was some weird moments in it, but, man, at the time, it was great. At the time, we didn't know how bad the shoulder things had screwed up his form and whatnot. Like, at the time, we thought JJ was going to come in and be able to shoot. And get to the rack and finish and be the hometown guy. And because of that in the NIL era, like, so much of it made sense at the time. So much of it made sense. Like, you go back in time and you tell me Red is the head coach of Syracuse basketball, you don't do that decision over. No. That decision you'd still make 100 times out of 100 and just hope it went differently. Now, the Red stuff and all that, yeah, there's a lot of things to do over. But the J.J. Starling, bringing him in at the time, you don't do that over. You just hope it works out differently. Because I don't think, from specifically a J.J.'s perspective, I don't think if you play out that scenario 100 times, it is doomed to the level of failure that it had nearly close to 100. Now, was it because of JJ? Was it because of injuries? Was it because of other players? Was it because of Red? There are 8 million reasons that it combined to go sideways for JJ at Syracuse. And, you know, other than Red, I'd say JJ was probably number 2 in line besides Red, bearing the brunt of it. But, yeah. It's a fascinating case, and you feel bad for him that it worked out that way because, like, there's another universe, right? In the other universe where JJ comes back home, NIL era, plays well, wins, that, like, not like in that scenario, JJ is set up for life as a local pitchman or whatever. Like, there could be a J.J. Starling Chevrolet or something down the lines, a J.J. Starling restaurant. Like, there's a lot of options that are on the table for J.J. All gone. All gone. Yeah, Olivia Miles, that one took me, she came into that game, Ryan, I don't know if I missed on the prep or something. I don't know who the hell she was when she stepped foot on the court. And she was electric, good, bad, and otherwise from the word go, because it was quite literally her first game. Nobody had said anything about, like, I knew who she was, but there had been no assumption about playing or anything at that point. And it was like, holy crap. Like, this is going to happen in the other way for someone. There's going to be a team that either is underperforming or has a short bench or loses people to injury or whatever, or these lawsuits get drawn out, or 8 million reasons, but there will be teams that pick up players at the end of the first semester this year, but not from the freshman class, from this newly eligible guys getting ready to play their fifth-year class, that because of that, like, you might be able to, like, as they always say, like, during sporting season, hey, there's no there's no waiver wire in college sports. Well, for the first time ever, and probably the only time ever, there could be a legit waiver wire for college basketball this year because of these rulings, because it's a two-semester sport. Basketball is going to hit in exactly the right way for their essentially to be a waiver wire for college basketball this season, of guys that have actually played and potentially actually succeeded at college basketball before. Going to be just bizarre to watch. Absolutely bizarre to watch. Yes, JJ will be buying the beers for the fans. Yeah, so there we are, the JJ Starling look. And then, it ties in. I wanted to just tie a bow on this, and we'll revisit it again. I got a lot of comments. It was the last thing we did pre-vacation. A lot of comments. We did the, hang on, where is it? Which page is it on? Uh-oh, did I lose it? Where'd it go? I've got the, hang on, where'd I put it? Uh-oh, where is it? Here it is. Woo! Nervy moments. We've got the latest minutes list that we did last time out. Here's what I did. This was August 6th. August 6th. I did a starting lineup of Garway Duel, Aiden Tobias, and Amari Monroe, Sadiq White, and Luke Wilson. I had Duel playing 22 minutes, Tobias in 28, Monroe 28, Sadiq 22, Luke Wilson 25. I had Doty and Cayenne, the lead guys off the bench, 22 minutes each. Folofak following with 12, Mark Morano, no longer Mamutovic with 10, Ryan Mesh at 4, and pick a backup center combining for 5 minutes. That's what we did on August 6th. Now, that engendered a lot of replies on the old social media, and I don't know which way Jerry's leaning on this. But the more you think and the more you talk, what is it going? Because I feel pretty in order of confidence of people that are starting for Syracuse this year, I am most confident that Luke Wilson is starting at center. I am second most confident that Aiden Tobiasen is starting at something. I am third most confident that Amari Monroe is starting at something, even though he's the newest guy to this mix. And I'm fourth most confident, assuming he heals up from the injury okay, that Garway Dual is the starting point guard. Which then leaves Sadiq. And it also leaves the Gavin Doty conversation. So, out of the many, many, many things that I heard, and I'd already been starting to wonder this myself after we did the exercise, is Doty's the best guy on the team. Doty this, Doty that, Doty that. I'm like, all right, so if Gavin Doty is to start, how do we arrive at that? And I think there's two ways to arrive at that. It's to essentially start a no point guard lineup with Tobiasen and Doty as your backcourt in some order, and still having Monroe, White, and Wilson up front. Or what I think would be the more likely alternative if Doty is to start, it would be to slide Monroe from the 3 to the 4. Positionless basketball. Positionless basketball. Slide Monroe from the 3 to the 4, and then you put Doty in as your starting 3. Positionless basketball. And the more I think about it, and the next time we do this, I think the starting lineup might be Dual, Tobias, and Doty, Monroe and Wilson, with then Sadiq and Cayenne being your lead two guys off the bench. The question for Jerry is going to be, how much are you willing to sacrifice size on the court at the start of the game? Yeah. I mean, you could change it every game. I don't like changing the starting. I am not a change the starting lineup based on matchup guys. Now, I'm a sub pretty quickly based on matchup guys, but I generally go more with the Jim Boeheim idea of, like, if you're gonna make a change to the starting lineup, make it. Don't, like, FLJ's changing her starting lineup. So she somehow has 4 different starting lineups a game. It's hard to do because you can only start one, but I like starting the same 5. And if you make a change, you're making a change to the starting lineup. You're not making a change because of the opponents. No, we're starting this group. And then, matchups, whatever's happening, dictates over the course of the game. Like, there were many years, especially like the Daewon Coleman years, like, guys were starting, but, like, that wasn't your 5. And there were also times where, like, Boeheim specifically generally would opt to start a bigger lineup, a more traditionally sized lineup, other than maybe the lineups you would play more often when the 2010 team, right? You started Rick Jackson next to Arinze. Some games you punished people down low early, but then your first sub generally would be one of those 2 out of the game. Then you get Chris Joe in, and then you had a different kind of thing. So I think in many ways that's going to be Jerry's question. Do you want a more traditional 5 with Sadiq White starting at the 4, or are you willing to put a versatile forward who's maybe a little shorter at the 4 to Amari Monroe, just to make sure you get Doty in the starting lineup? Realistically, I think that's where the question's at right now. And it's good questions. It's very good questions. And I'm intrigued to see how they go down. And I'm intrigued to see how Jerry handles it. I am not a change the starting lineup guy unless you are changing the starting lineup regardless of what your opponent's doing. Like, when Jim Boeheim changed the starting lineup, boom, he changed the starting lineup. Like, one guy was out, one guy was in, and then that was the starting lineup. Yeah, the starting lineups don't matter a whole ton, and we talk about positionless basketball versatility. Like, when we talked about my other idea, yeah, I'm not going to be shocked because the more and more I think about this, Govendo, if Doty is to start, and a lot of people seem to be convinced that Doty is starting, either because he's Jerry's guy or because he's good enough or whatever, and I can ride with that. The most likely guy right now to go to the bench in his place, for a lot of reasons, played the least collegiate basketball, hasn't necessarily proved it yet, whatever, it is Sadiq. Like, out of Wilson, Monroe, Tobias, and Dual, they've all, to one level or another, either proved it a little or proved it a lot, and Doty at the college level. Sadiq hasn't done that yet. Now, what does it say that your starting lineup is all transfers and Cayenne and Sadiq are coming off the bench? Like, honestly, in 2026, who cares? Who cares? 315 Day One collab? You never know. Day One is quite the designer, is he not? So I don't know. Like, my guess is, unless we hear like legit intel on this, my guess is the next time we do this exercise, and we will do this exercise again, probably multiple times before the season, perhaps once again or twice or 7 times again before the first exhibition game, and then at least once again after that before the season actually starts. My guess is I am going to change my tune to a starting lineup of Dual, Tobiasen, Doty, Monroe, and Wilson, with Sadiq coming off the bench and Cayenne coming off the bench and Full Effect coming off the bench and Morano coming off the bench. But again, this is why... and Super Cat, that's also people keep saying, well, Doty's Jerry's guy and all, like, he's got to start. Part of the reason that in my projections I keep projecting Doty off the bench is because who is more on board with what Jerry is doing than Gavin Doty? And if Jerry tells Gavin Doty, hey, my man, the best thing for this team is you being an immediate early game weapon off the bench. Like, we're coming in strong with you and Cayenne early. We're starting big, and then 4 or 5 minutes in, we're sending you and Cayenne in, and we're changing the tenor and the pace of the game, and that's what we're doing. I can't imagine anybody on earth would be more on board than that than Gavin Doty. Would he be disappointed in not starting? Yeah, he's a human being. But, like, people say, oh, well, Jerry's going to start his guy. Well, I say on the other hand, well, who's more likely to understand and be willing to understand what Jerry's doing than Jerry's guy? So I'm not worried about that with Doty. I can see it going one way or the other. Some people were trying to tell me on the social media, well, Francis Folefak's also Jerry's guy. He's going to start. I'm like, come on. Folefak's not starting. And this is nothing against Folefak. I like Folefak. But, like, and they were trying to tell me that Folefak would start ahead of Amari Monroe. I'm like, come on now. Hey, Jen. Like, he's not starting ahead of Amari Monroe. Amari Monroe was the conference player of the year in that conference 2 years ago. Like, in Jerry's conference. He's very aware of the situation. What's up, Jen? Jen's Jill now? Oh, when did that happen? Go on vacation for a week. Jen's Jill? Who knew? So there we are, a little basketball talk for today, a little hoopsy hoops talk on a Wednesday, and obviously we will continue to talk hoops from now until eternity. We are in the 315. That's what we do. That's what we do. What we also do is this.
Mason here. 100 days, 100 thoughts. It's the Nave Law countdown to 2026 Syracuse football. Here's Brian.
Here I am. 17 days. Toe, leather, dome, Syracuse. Live free or die, New Hampshire. High noon, ACC Network. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 tickets available to the game, courtesy of our friends at Nave Law. Make sure you are registered now. We are within right around a week and a half. Right around a week and a half away from drawing the winner. We'll do that 12 days' time. On Monday, August the 31st, we're live in the 315. We got a 5-pack on the 50 behind the orange bench. Make sure you are registered to win. QR code on the screen. Link in the chat. Happy New Year indeed, Super Cat, as we work our way toward the 2026 football season. We are 17 days away from Orange Kick. I guess we're 10 days away from Week 0. Is there anything interesting happening in Week 0? I don't know. I'm not a Week 0 guy. Like, just give me a minute. I like my football. I love my football, but I like my football to at least get me to September 1st. The September 5th start, love it. Love it. Show me the 9. The 9 in front of the month, and we're good. So, today's opponent preview is NC State. We're working our way toward the end of the season. We only got 3 games left to preview. NC State today, Boston College on Monday, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, week from today. So, what is Syracuse dealing with in NC State? When we talked about Clemson on Monday, we kind of looked at Clemson in the context of SMU, Louisville, and Notre Dame as Clemson, as stunning as it may sound, may only be the 4th trickiest game in the Dome this year, which is wild when you think about it. NC State bears conversation when you look at where are they going to fit in as far as trickiest games on the road. Because, while I think in many ways the 3 or 4 best teams that Syracuse is playing this year are all happening in the Dome. When you look at, I think Notre Dame is clearly the best team Syracuse is playing this year, and at least as we stand right now, Louisville and SMU in some order, probably SMU next, are probably 2 and 3. Then you get into, all right, but maybe Clemson, but then you get into NC State and Pittsburgh, I think, is where you're at after that. And NC State last year had just another Dave Doran season. They went 8-5. Dave Doran's been there since 2013. First year 3-9, 8-5, 7-6, 7-6, 9-4, 9-4, 4-8, 8-4, 9-3, 8-5, 9-4, 6-7, 8-5. Like, he falls into the 8-9 win region often. And he's also, and this is very important when it comes to a Dave Doran-led team, did he lose some guys this past year that are significant and exited vis-a-vis the transfer portal? Yeah, he did. They lost Smothers to did he go to Texas? Their running back. Yeah, he went to Texas. Like, that's a big loss. But their starting quarterback is back. C.J. Bailey is back. C.J. Bailey, who is to some extent a dual threat. He's not a running quarterback, but he's not a stationary quarterback. Like, he ran for 6 touchdowns last year. He can scoot a little bit, but he can really sling it. He had really nice passing numbers last year. 25 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions, more than 3,000 yards, completed nearly 69% of his passes. They have one of, short list, the best returning quarterbacks in the conference this year. When you look up and down the league this year, like, they got a dude that's coming back. Syracuse, historically in the series against NC State, has not done well, and in Raleigh has not done well, though they did win there 2 years ago with Fran. Syracuse, NC State football series. But for the most part, NC State has been a general house of horrors for Syracuse football. All-time record, the Wolfpack have won 13. Syracuse has won 4. The Orange did win there in a very unmemorable game 2 years ago, 24-17, with McCord. They also beat him in Dino's. It was completed the 6-0 start, remember, sellout in 2022. But prior to that, it was just loss. Like a win in 2018, but just losses behind that. The Orange have won in Raleigh, where the game will be this year, twice ever. They won, go figure, with Scott Schaefer and Terrell Hunt in 2013. I'm receiving a potential spam call. I decline. In a game where they ran for 8 million yards in that game in 2013. I think it was like Hunt and Prince Tyson Gully and guys like that just ran for 8 million yards in that game. Where's the bio? The box score. Show me the box score of that game. They ran for 8 million yards in that game. Show me the stats. Where are the stats? Jerome Smith ran for 140. PTG ran for 132. Terrell Hunt ran for 92. Like, that was the day. They absolutely just sat on them that day in Raleigh, and then did not win in Raleigh again, despite playing there every other year until 2 years ago with Kyle McCord. So back there again this year. It's no longer an every-year game. This was always a very, very tough divisional game for Syracuse. They lost there with some legitimately good teams. Remember when Bradley Chubb took Eric Dungy's towel in 2017? That was a thing. Just snatched his towel right off his belt. It was aggressive. It was egregious. And for me personally, the wireless scene in Raleigh never worked. Like, our sideline equipment in Raleigh, just it never worked. Tucker, I forget that Sean Tucker broke the record in Raleigh, and you forget that because Syracuse got absolutely hammered that day. They lost that game 41-17, anticlimactic for Sean Tucker that day. So this is a tough game. NC State, I think they're going to have yet another Dave Doran season. They're going to win 8 or 9 games. They got a good quarterback. They're going to be the same team they always are. They're not going to be great. They're not going to compete for the league title, but they're going to be good, and they're going to be a legitimate problem for everybody that's not the top of the league. Try to look at their schedule. Who's where do we got? Who's NC State got this year? AKA, are they playing Miami? NC State's schedule. Oh, right. They've got the game. They're opening at Virginia. That was the game that was supposed to be at Brazil. That's a week 0 game. That's next week. I forgot that was happening. Virginia, Richmond at Vanderbilt. That's an intriguing week 3 game. Off to see Clark Lee. App State at home. Louisville at home. That October 3rd, Louisville at NC State. That's going to be a very significant game in ACC standings. Then you got Wake at Stanford, Cal, Cuse at Florida State, at North Carolina. NC State has a very, very, very friendly conference schedule here. The toughest team you got is Louisville, and you got it at home. So maybe this is the year NC State can make a move. Or this will be another year where they lose some inexplicable games, win 8 or 9, don't make the conference title game, and every Wolfpack fan thinks the same thing they always think about Dave Doran, good, bad, or otherwise. But, yeah, Mark, to your point, you look at the road schedule this year and say, all right, what are the tricky spots on the road? I mean, every road game is tricky in some context. But if I look at the 3, it's the 3 you mentioned. Your road games this year are Pitt, UConn, Virginia, North Carolina, NC State, and Boston College. Now, UConn and BC can be tricky in their own right just because, A, Fran hasn't beaten BC, and B, the UConn game went to overtime in the Dome last year. But they slide down this list. Carolina slides down this list because they're a grease fire. So you're looking at Pitt, House of Horrors, Thursday night early in the season, September 17th. You're looking at Virginia, October the 10th in Charlottesville, where Virginia played for the league championship last season and returns a lot, though not their quarterback. And then you look at NC State. So I think realistically, you're looking at NC State or Pittsburgh for which is your least likely road game to win. Man, that's a coin flip, right? That's a coin flip situation. Like, which game is going to be harder for Syracuse to win? At Pitt or at NC State? Now, I think that'll also kind of tell us where the season's going, right? Pitt is game 3. NC State is the 3rd to last game of the year. Like, obviously, if the schedule... If the season plays out as it did last year, then whomever's in the 3rd to last position is way more difficult than is in 3rd to 1st. I don't know. I look at NC State and Pitt kind of that's as even as it can be for tough road games. You got both teams are returning their quarterbacks. Mason Heinschel for Pitt and C.J. Bailey for NC State. Both teams always win a game or two more than you get out of the season. You're like, oh, what did they win? 6 or 7? And then the answer was 8 or 9. Like, Pitt and NC State are in very much the same program here for the last decade for that. And I think they're both incredibly tricky games. And when I said on Monday, all right, New Hampshire W, Notre Dame loss, 10 games in the middle. Like, the ceiling of your season here is going to determine, it's going to be determined by games like that on the road. Like, can you go on the road and snag a win at Pitt or at NC State? Otherwise, then the ceiling of your season is dropping down to 6 or 7, unless you can go win those games. And, Kev, to your point, all right, so you open with New Hampshire and Cal. The attendance is going to be whatever for the first couple of weeks, right? Then you're at Pitt, at UConn, at Virginia. You're not back home again until Louisville on October 17th. And we've detailed the Louisville game is going to have a good attendance regardless because it's family weekend. But, yeah, like that Pitt game, because it is a Thursday night ESPN game, the Pitt game is going to determine in many ways the early mood of the season. Because say you beat New Hampshire and sneak by Cal and you're 2-0, and then you go to Pitt and get walloped. Early mood of the season going into a bye week and going into a month away from the Dome is misery, even though you're 2-1. Say you beat New Hampshire, lose to Cal. You could lose to Cal. And then say you somehow bounce back and beat Pitt. Same 2-1, people in a much better mood. Now, the worst case, right, is you beat New Hampshire, stumble against Cal, and then get walloped by Pitt. Then you don't have a Dome game for a month, and everybody watched on national TV, turned it off at halftime, and thinks the team stinks. We've seen that before. So that Pitt game is probably more pivotal to the course of the season than the NC State game. But the NC State game here, say you're having an okay season, right? Say you beat New Hampshire, beat Cal, lose to Pitt, beat UConn, you're 3-1. Let's say you go to Virginia and win, and say you're 4-1. And then let's say you come back to the Dome, lose a tight game to Louisville, you're 4-2, go to Carolina and win 5-2. SMU and Clemson back-to-back weeks in the Dome, you're 5-2. Let's say you split. Let's say you get one, and now you're 6-3. All right, now the NC State game is determining, like, if you've got a ceiling on the season, right? Like, if the ceiling of your season is interesting. So I think those two games are placed very interestingly on the schedule for what they will lead to next. And honestly, if you flipped their two spots on the schedule, I'd probably think about the NC State game what I now think about the Pitt game and vice versa, because I think you're looking at two very identical challenges historically for Syracuse when you look at going to Pitt and going to NC State. And, yeah, the Pitt game is going to determine a lot, are people going to be there? And, the NC State game down the stretch is, that's very similar to, let's look back. I want to look back at the McCord season real quick. So, in the McCord season, the NC State game is, the third to last game of the McCord season was at Cal. And they were coming off that bad loss at BC. You had split at Pitt and home for Virginia Tech, which, looking at that season and looking at this Syracuse season would be, ish splitting SMU and Clemson. Then you had a terrible loss at Boston College, and you went on the road at Cal that year, and it was all right, which way is your season going? You went on the road in that game. You were sitting 6-3, and we didn't know where they were going. And they went out, and I realized they only won by 8, but they dominated that game. Full control of that game at Cal. Then you beat UConn and have the great Miami win and finish strong. This year, if you are 5-4, 6-3, whatever, heading into NC State. Okay, say you're 6-3. Say you go and win that game, and then beat BC the next week. There's a scenario where you're 8-3, and then Notre Dame, your version of Miami that year, comes to the Dome, and all of a sudden you're geeked up for that game. The other side of it is things are sliding a little bit. You get smoked by NC State, and then that Notre Dame game is just looming as getting your teeth kicked out in and out, both directions. So we'll see. So I think it's Pitt and NC State are pivotal road games. If you're Syracuse and you can win either of those games this year, I think that is very telling about everything's telling about health of Steve Angeli. But if you can win either of those games this year, Pitt or NC State, I think that's very telling about Fran having things still generally pointed in the right direction. If things are going wobbly and you go down to NC State and get smoked late in the year, that can become a referendum against Fran in another way. If you're wobbling and you lose at NC State, lose at BC, and then get absolutely worked again by Notre Dame to close the season, oh my goodness, we have returned to the Dino Babers bad taste in the mouth Novembers, of which we do not wish to return to. Last year we had a bad taste in the mouth October and November. That was new, combining all of it to having nothing good past the month of September. So, I don't know. I see NC State. It's a tough game. Returning quarterback. Coach has been there a long time. Are they great? No. Are they good and solid? Yes. Has good and solid been enough to significantly trouble Syracuse over the years? Yes. How does that play out on November the 14th in Raleigh? That we shall see. That we shall see. And there we are, a little Nave Law 100-day countdown to Syracuse football. We are 17 days out, several more than that away from Syracuse and NC State in 3 months' time down in Raleigh, North Carolina. And remember, as always, link in the chat. Kaboom! The QR code on the screen. Register for a chance to win tickets to the opener against New Hampshire. We got 5 tickets, and we want you to win 5 tickets to that game. Like, you're not going to win 3 tickets. You're either winning 0 tickets or you're winning 5 tickets. It's not a middle ground situation. It's not a middle ground situation. And before we let you go, we need to circle back to where we started today, and that is kaboom! Kaboom! That is this, where we began today. That is the addition of the 315 hat to the Simply Sweet Sisters 315 collection. Check out the 315 hat. Boom! Available for purchase right now. The quarter zip, of which I'm currently modeling, will be available for purchase very soon. Perhaps before I finish the sentence. Maybe not that soon. Before the end of the day, though. But get your 315 hat. Kev has ordered the hat. Multiple people have ordered the hat. We're going to get the hats in production. We'll get them out to you as soon as possible so you can be rocking your 315 chapeau for the start of football season. And to Gavendo's point, we're looking ahead maybe to like basketball weather around here. Yeah, the beanie, the toque, the winter hat, whatever you want to call it. We're pondering the life and times of those as well. So get your 315 hat, simplysweetsisters.myshopify.com. Link in the chat to the 315 collection. The t-shirt is there as well. The hoodie is there as well. The hat is now there, and the quarter zip is soon to be there. We are just fully living the merch life. The hat is right there. It's right there on the screen. It's everywhere you want. Yeah, Kev's a hat guy. Kev will be in the hat rotation. Jen likes the hat. The hat worked well on the beach. All the beach videos last week were shot wearing the hat for multiple reasons. A, wanted to showcase the hat, and B, let's be like beach vacation. We did not want to showcase the state of the hair at that point. We were not in. Thankfully, Smell-O-Vision was not in deck. We were not in a showered situation for those videos. No, we needed the hat to cover up bed head, beach head, ocean head. All of it, just absolutely all of it. So get your hat. Wind just it was a mess, and the hat was doing yeoman's work. When it comes to it. Hey, Mike Lindsley in the chat. I'm going to be on Mike's show tomorrow, so check it out. Believe in New York. Believe in New York. We just all hang out together. So check out that. Also check out tomorrow the return of our TPS report. Super Cat, who was one of the first searching for a hat, has ordered the hat. It was always going to happen, but we were glad, Super Cat, that we have finally made this dream. We have made your long-time dream in the longest teased merch item of all time. We've made your dream a reality. So tomorrow night, me, Jordan, I need to make Jordan a hat. I got to get, between now and then, will I get Jordan his hat before then? Will I get Jordan his hat? Potentially, Jordan will be wearing a hat tomorrow night, and you will tune in at 8 o'clock tomorrow night to check it out. Transfer Portal Syracuse tomorrow night right here at TPS Report. Also, speaking of Simply Sweet Sisters, the Fayetteville Farmers Market that's in the, now onto the Speedo Supercat. The Fayetteville Farmers Market at Fayetteville Town Center, the one that's in the lot right near our fine friends at Wild Birds Unlimited, the Target parking lot and Kohl's, but they're kind of right next to They're right next to. They're near the Red Robin. They're near that whole area. Simply Sweet Sisters has a tent tomorrow at the Fayetteville Farmers Market. I believe it's a noon to 6 situation. There will be sourdough. There will be sourdough bagels of several flavors. There will be a variety of items. Perhaps I'll be there at points during the day. You can go right into Wild Birds Unlimited and buy a bird feeder. You can do all those things. But we'll be Simply Sweet Sisters will be at the Fayetteville Town Center Farmers Market tomorrow from noon to 6. Yeah, then you can go get Red Robin. Yum, bottomless fries. You can do it up. You can do the whole thing up. So there we are. That is a full list of things that we have connected the dots, crossed the T's, dotted the I's, dotted the T's, crossed the I's, dotted a J or two, whatever we've needed to do. It is all now taken care of. So with that, have a good day, everybody. We'll be back here live in the 315, perhaps with Jordan wearing a hat, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.